Good afternoon, everyone. Are you able to see the screen? And can you hear my voice? Okay. Okay, have you completed the previous practice program which I gave on test later? Are you able to complete it? Or any doubts you are having regarding that? Done? Clear? Good. Any doubts? Anybody is having any doubts? Let me know. So only 78 got star, and what about the remaining? See, this day-to-day evaluation is very important. Sorry, the settings got modified. Now I hope you are able to see the screen and listen to my voice. Hachta? Yes? Okay. Sorry, I didn't see that and just proceeded. So look at here now. So see here. Now you can see. Write a program to calculate aggregate of n subject marks of a student based on internal and external marks entered using single inheritance. That means what you have to do, you have to take n subjects. That means you can take either 3 subject marks or 4 subject marks. It depends upon the input what the user give during the runtime. Okay, and you have, suppose if it is 3 subjects, then he has to take internal and external marks of 3 subjects. So now look at the sample input what I have given. Now, okay, you want me to reduce volume? Is it okay, Karthik? Okay. Okay, where I'm. So now see here. Now these are the required fields for your input. Enter roll number, enter name, then how many subject marks you would like to consider, give the number, and then suppose if I am giving input as 2, then 2 subjects internal and external marks has to be given. Okay, internal marks consider for 25 and external marks consider for 75. Okay, so these are the first subject marks and these are the second subject marks. Then your output should be your total information. I mean roll number, name, and calculate the total of all subject marks and then calculate the aggregate. Okay, now see the answer, coding part. So remember this sample input. Okay, based on that we will declare the fields. So what are the fields you require? Roll number, name. Okay, and okay, I didn't give any other specifications, right? It's up to us how we will write a program. So now using single inheritance, in first class one of your friend took roll number and name. So first enter roll number, enter name. For that, I mean for reading the roll number and name, 2 methods. Let me know the name of them. What is their name? Srivani's code this is. Okay. So what she did? She took 2 methods in order to read the roll number and name. Okay. And in next class, that means using inheritance, she tried to inherit student's class, and then here the required fields in order to calculate the internal and external marks she took, okay, for in the aggregate class. So numbers indicates how many subjects, then internal marks, then external marks array, then total. Okay, double aggregate. Now what she tried to do? First she tried to read how many subjects you require, then she tried to read n subjects. When you require n number of subjects, you have to use an array. Yes or no? So she took directly she took the array here for internal and external. And one more thing, what she did, she took the loop in order to take n subject marks. That means if it is 2 subjects, then 0 for repetition of first subject and 1 for another subject. 2 times this particular loop will get repeated, and internal marks of first subject and internal marks of second subject you are going to read. Then what you are doing, you are trying to calculate the total of internal marks, total of external marks. I mean total aggregate she is trying to calculate. Grand total she is going to calculate using the total variable. Then aggregate. Using output method, she try to calculate the aggregate. What do you mean by aggregate? Total by number of subjects. That will give the aggregate. So directly she converted into the double, that is nothing but using typecasting. So then she tried to print the data using roll number, name, total. So this calculation you can do as you wish. You can take like a single array, or you can use two arrays in order to calculate this. So now name, total, aggregate. Print the data. Now come here. She could just, in the main method, she is declaring an object for your derived class and try to access the methods. So now if you see here, run the program. I mean, already she got 100%. So whatever the data you got, it will get printed. It will run for you and show. So she got 100%. I'm not editing anyone's. Okay. So this is a way how now you can see. I can show you what is the input you are having. One minute, it is going out of school. Now see, her program name, roll number 101, then name 4x. Then how many subjects? 2. Enter internal and external marks 15, 62, then 11, 63. So the same output she got as expected. Okay. So while you are doing the program, everything has to be matched, like the tab spaces, this naming, I mean this syntax should be matched as it is. If not, you will not get the output. I mean, you will not get evaluated. Just take care of that. And at the last, if time permits, I will take any one of your code which is not executed, not able to evaluate, and I will clear your doubts. Okay. So try to correct it. Okay. So here I'm going ahead, and if anyone want your program to be seen and you want me to rectify the code, you can post your name in the chat box. At the end, if time permits, I will look at the code and I will clear your doubt. Okay. If any one of your code, if you want me to see and check the error out of it. Okay. You want my support, let me know. Okay, now see, in the previous class we have gone through the inheritance concept. We started with inheritance. What is an inheritance, and what is the use of an inheritance, and how you will create it. We have seen a sample program out of it, and then we came across access modifiers. And coming to access modifiers, I told you are having 3 access modifiers: public, private, and protected. Then now see, do you remember the previous program where I stopped? So this is a program which we stopped in the previous class. I hope you remember. Now all of you please go through that so that I will explain you all the access modifiers in detail. Okay. Now I will give 2 minutes. Just revise this. What you are having in the first class, we are creating a class called as base, and here I am declaring a variable called as base value, and then a method. And one thing you have to keep it in mind, we are declaring it as public. Okay, access modifier public. Base input one method in order to read the base value. Okay, and next one more class, derived class, first derived class, which inherits base class. Then here I am declaring a variable called as derived value and one more method in order to read the derived value input, that is derived input. Okay, and using the access modifier public. Okay, now so this is an example, just I extended that. So one more derived class, that means this is an example related to your multi-level inheritance. Now you can see base class, derived class is inheriting base class. Okay, now one more class derived one, which is inheriting derived class. That means it is inheriting the derived class. That means you can see multi-level. Now here you are having one method called as sum, which is accessing the base value and derived value and trying to calculate the sum of two values and printing the result. Okay, now in main I created an object for derived one and trying to access base class method, derived class method and sum. That means all the methods which are present in different classes I try to access with the help of last derived one's object. Okay, are you clear up to here? That means whatever the program I am showing, is it clear? Shall we proceed with the combination of access modifiers now? Just look at the hierarchy, that's all. Are you following? Let me know. I think so many of you have executed this program along with me. Are you following? Shall I proceed? Your response is most awaited. You should respond immediately. Okay, Mark? Now see here. Thank you. Now see here. All of you, first, let's go through this PPT step by step. Now, first, you are having three access modifiers, public, private and protected. Now, first we'll deal with the public inheritance. Okay, public means now here you are trying to inherit the superclass with the help of public keyword. Okay, suppose when you inherit using public access modifier, then what are the changes it happens in your derived class? Now see the above two lines. Now this is the most used inheritance mode. In this, protected member of your superclass will become protected members and subclass of your subclass and public becomes subclass. Now see the example. Before we get into that, look at here. Now if you see, I will give some rough idea. You might be having three different set of values. Okay, private. Here you might be having variables and methods. Okay, again private. Next, what you are having? Protected. You will be having under. You can have, it's our wish. Okay, it may not, in all the programs you need to have private, under private some variables and methods, and under protected some variables and methods. It depends upon the requirement of the user. Okay, now some methods, and let's take one more access modifier, public, and in this also I may be having variables and some methods. Okay, this is a base class, right? Now see here. Now see. Now what shall I do? Let's take the derived class. Class derived. I would like to inherit base class, right? Let's take the derived class. I would like, now if you see here in our PPT, okay, this is only a PPT. Now, first we come across public. Okay, let's come across a public. Now see, public base. So now what happens? Now see here, in our base class, you might be having private members, protected members and public members. That means members in the sense you can have variables and methods. Variable methods. Now, inheriting mode of your derived class is now, in your derived class is public. When you use this public here, then can you access the private data? What is mean by private? See, three things you have to remember. Private means it will be restricted only to that particular class. Okay. Protected means the derived class members can use the protected member. If it is public means you can access anywhere. Okay. Now see here. Private. Now suppose these if you try to access private data in your derived class, can you access? Respond. Can you access the private data? No. Yes. Good. Can you access the private data? No. Private data of base class cannot be accessed. Okay. Okay. Because it is restricted only to this particular class. Okay. Now, what happens to your protected? Can the protected data can be accessed in your derived class if it is a public? Yes, protected data can be accessed. So when the protected data is you are able to access within the derived class. Now these variables and methods, listen properly guys. Now I try to access this protected data in derived class using what is the access modifier? Public. Even though now what is the scope? Is protected scope is more or public scope is more? The scope of public will be more, but here your protected is having less scope. So what you are trying to do, you are giving more scope, but this scope is less. So when you try off your base class in your derived, these members will become protected itself. It will not become public. Again, this same data. See, this data will be as it is. That means this will be having the same scope. 1 minute. This will be accessed as it is. That means just like protected. Okay, scope will not be modified. Even though you try to access with the help of public access modifier. Okay. Now next you are having public. Public means sure, you can be accessed in the derived class and the scope of the variables will be public itself. Okay, scope will be public itself. Is it fine? Protected will become protected itself. Public will become public. When you try to access with the help of public keyword. Are you able to follow? So now read the definition of these two lines under public inheritance. In this, protected member of superclass will become protected members of subclass and public becomes public. Private data you can't access. Okay, when you try to access using public inheritance. Okay, next one, we'll go with the private. Now what happens with your private? Now see here. Let's go with private. Now instead of public, I would like to give private. Now what happens? What are the changes I should do? First, can private data can be accessible 3, 4, 5 lines? No. Yes. I want everyone to be followed because these are very important in your competitive exams also. Access modifiers. All of you pay attention. Okay, good. Private data cannot be accessed. Now, 6, 7, 8 lines. This is related to your protected. Now, this protected data, I try to access with the help of private access modifier. That means this is having more scope and this is having less. So now, is it will get inherited as it is or anything modification we need to do? Many modifications we need to do. How the scope of the data will be restricted. Yes, good. Ganesh, Srita, good. Now see. Now, when I try to access protected data using private, then the scope will be restricted. Thus, protected will become private. Okay, this will get modified to private. Okay, no more it will be protected. This will become private. Okay, now, what about these 3, 4 lines? Now, this will not be no more protected. Okay. Now it will be modified as private, right? Now what about the public? Yes. Good. Public will also become private. That means here itself it will get restricted. These public members are also will become private. Okay, this will become private now. No longer it will be public. Okay, public, private, it will become private. Okay, restricted. Now, if one more derived class is there, can I access this data in that particular class, derived class 2? All these data? No. Everything become private now. Yes or no? This one, protected data became private, public data became private. Everything became private from your base. So, you cannot access the further base class data in your next derived classes. Okay? I hope you are following. Is it fine with your private? How to access the private? If it is private, this will be the combination. Okay? Now, read this. Read this now. Second, private inheritance. In private mode, protected and public members of your superclass become private members of your derived. So that's what I have shown you. Okay. Now next one. Let's go with another combination, protected. Okay. So what changes with protected? Instead of private, I would like to change it as protected. Now, if protected has been modified, now what is the modifications I have to do for my data? Access modifiers in your derived class. Yes, that's it. Private anyhow you can't access. Protected and public will become protected here. Okay. Now this will be protected. Okay, this will be next one also. This will become protected. Modifying. Now, okay, listen, one more question for you now. I'm having next level derived class derived, okay, and I would try to access the members of your derived class. Can I access? One more class is there. So can I access the members now? Yes. Okay. Yes. Answer is yes. Good. You gave me the answer. Now, one more question. Now, this is the skeleton, okay, skeleton of my program, and I have created an object for my derived. Can I access these members in my main? Is question clear? In main, I created an object for your derived class and I try to access these members. Can I access? No. Yes, good. Now, what you need to identify? Here is the conclusion. Now, up to base class and derived class, I hope everyone is clear. Now, come to the main. Suppose if you are having main and if access modifier is public, then the public methods or variables can be accessed in your main. Okay, listen. If you declare main and if the access modifier is public, then that variables and methods can be accessed in your main. Okay, and suppose if your access modifier is private, then anyhow you cannot access it in your main. Okay. Now, if your access modifier is protected, it can be inherited in your next level of your derived class, but you cannot access outside. That means inside the main, without inheritance, you cannot access the members of that protected class members. Okay, if you declare a member as protected, it can be accessed only in your derived classes. Outside of it, you cannot access. That means, suppose if you would like to access in the main also, you can't access. It acts as a private data for you as in your main function. Okay, or anywhere else. So here, so I hope is it clear? I'll give you the table also. You can refer to that skeleton. Is the explanation clear now? Any doubts? No. So, last class we have. I would like to show you some also. I think we got an error. So I showed with public. Now let me modify a little with protected and I will clear it and I'll stop. Okay. Let's go with the next. Now see here. See, just now whatever the example I showed you, let's try to access with protected. Okay. Protected. Now these members will become, now see, the access modifier is protected. Okay. That means these public members of your base class will become protected members of your derived class. Okay. So that these base class members cannot be accessed within the main. Okay. Again. Okay. Now, here again these things are public. Here again derived value, derived input. Now, in the next level, derived 1, I would like to modify it as protected. I would like to modify it as protected. Okay. Now, these values, these public data of your derived class has become protected data of your derived one. Okay. Now, these base class values and then derived class values became protected data of your derived one. Okay. Now, in derived one, I am having a public function. Okay. Now, I will give 2 minutes of time. What should be the modification for my code in order to make it executable? So, let me show what are the errors you will get. See, 1 minute. See the errors. I don't want to have access modifiers, change in access modifiers anywhere. Calling a method should be different way. You should be able to call the methods in a proper. This particular program should become executable. Okay, these are the errors. Okay, I told you when it become protected, base input cannot be accessed and derived input cannot be accessed. So these are the errors it is getting raised. Okay, you can also see in the compiler log. So derived input, base input. Okay, you are getting 2 errors. Now, what should be the modification to my program? Only the method calling should be in a different way. What should be the lines I should replace or exchange? I don't want to use scope resolution operator. Creating a constructor, automatically I can call it, okay. But I don't want to add, okay, that is one solution out of it. We can create a constructor and place the code. Instead of creating, what I can do it. Yes, base input. Ganesh, you are near to it. Still, I'll give time. 1 minute. Any more answers? You can try it out. If you are wrong, also nothing, no problem. Just keep giving your answers. You can try. Okay. I want the code, okay. Base class, input method, derived class, input method. That's it. Declaring base class function with public keyword. Yes, ma, that is one way already we came across. Okay, but now this is a restriction part what I am applying. So I should be able to rectify the errors with what I am having it. Okay, let's go. Base input in derived input. This sum should be in main. Yes, okay. You can do this, but it's not necessary to keep base input in derived. Both can be called in the sum. Okay. Whatever the solution you give me, that I will apply and show, and then I'll give one more solution also. Okay. Now, if you see here, this method cannot be accessed outside, so it can be accessed in your derived class. And again, here I am restricted, so this method also can be accessed in derived class. So base here and protected will become protected one. Whatever I hope you are able to see the comments also. Now whatever the Ganesh gave me the solution that I am applying. So see here, to access base just call the method in my derived. And then trying to call the like this. He asked me to call it into sum. Derived input in sum. Okay. Now, this one because sum can be accessed outside because this is directly public, right? So these two lines are commenting. This one and this one I commented. These two lines I commented because I called in the previous. So we don't have errors. Okay, let me give the values. So 5, 10, 15. You are able to access the base value, value, and source. I hope you are following. And Ganesh, at this point you are clear up to certain extent. What I can tell you is that this can also be accessed in the next level. Protected can be accessed throughout in the next subclasses as well. So you can what is the method name? See here. Enter the class. So I am giving 10 to derived class 15, 25. Okay. So what should be your observation? Base class, it is accessed in the next level of your derived class. In level of your derived class also. Okay. Fine. Like that you can try it with any number of possibilities. Okay. Suppose if I am having private, what should be my modification? Let it be for now. Okay, here I would like to modify it as it doesn't make any difference. So have a modification. Wait here also. Here private, okay. Protected here. Suppose let's see. Suppose if it is here private, see here. Okay. The application. First I type of private base class. Then what should be the modifications to my program? What should be the modification to my program? Now you can see whatever the solution Ganesh gave me before, that means base input should be called in your derived input and derived input should call it. So this should be taken as addition, suppose if you are declaring it as private. Now see, because that it has to work, you can see here base input cannot fail. Why it cannot? Now if you see here, base input is public and you try to restrict with the help of private. Now this data, base input became private due class, became private in the next level. When you access it outside, you access this base input is restricted as private here. That here it became due class. Can you access data? No, that's what it is happening. This base input is being restricted in your deriver. So what you can do, I can access within the same class private data. So now here you have base input. Okay. Base input. If you access as you can't access private data. Now again this derived value is to access. I try to access here. I'm getting water. So it should be using here. Basically, we are trying to call in the next level. It is not accessing. So just I should be able to call. Is all. So what you have to do here, this base value cannot be accessed. So what is happening? This value it cannot access in your. Now see here. What is the error becoming private? You can see here base input is your private. What you can see, base input is a method you can access using. Data also will be is becoming the private data. So data can be accessed outside. So raising the exception. Base input can be accessed, but base value it is raising the exception. Okay. So you cannot access like this. Okay. Follow. The thing why is nothing but this method trying to access the base value. Now when you try to access the private in your here, now you can see in some I try to access the private data. Can you access the private data outside it? No. You cannot access the private data. See the two, you can say it is raising the error. What is that? Base value cannot be accessed. So up to here it's you don't have any problem in order to access the base input. But here as I am trying to accessing and derived value, it is right. If I find this line, you will not get the output, but errors will not be there. See here. 50. I can be able to access the input. Okay, but output I am unable to print. Why? This sum method is trying to access this base value which is private in your derived class. Look at here, which is private. Now you can, I hope I'm scrolling, I hope here base, okay, this base value is becoming private in your derived class. Okay, private in your derived class. Now when you come here, so let me come show you. This is becoming as private. Okay, this is becoming private. Okay, just for understanding I am writing. This is becoming as private. It can be accessed within this class. Okay, up to here can be accessed within this. That means base value up to here I don't have this class I can access. But now in the next level I try to access using the derived class private. When I try to access these values are private, base values are private. If it is private, can I access that value outside it? No. So that's what this line is raising the exception. Are you following? Please look over once. Upfront if you understand well and good, because I'm explaining in little depth all. Look at the code, is it clear? Now in your derived class. Now D1 try to access base value and to access the private. So this line is raising the. Is it clear? No response. Then here, then back. Now see this in what I explained it. And this is a private structure. Now the one I'm having public data going under private, it became private. Then In the next level, can I access the private data? No, I can't access. From the derived class, can I access the private data? I can't access. So that's what I try to show here with the help of coding. So now what I did, this is a base class with public, and in derived class with private, it became private. Now in the next level, can I wait access? So it is raising the error. Okay. How I can resolve? I can do the sum in this class itself, and I can get use the sum edit. So what I can do? I can do the calculation of this here itself by it. So I can modify. So reading the value here, okay. See ya. 15, 20, 35. That means can't access the space and base value outside as it became private. That's all. And within that class, I place it within a method and I try to call the rocket. Okay. So now things only a single program I did once, and you should be able to understand the examples, and if you practice, is it fine? So total summary, please go through it. What I explained tables of your acceleration, then the total concept what I explained is clear for you. Shall I continue? We take small examples, some two variables, and then go with combinations. One more slide I'll explain with one more good example. Still, if you are not clear, then you might be clear during that time. Shall we move on? No replies? So these are the 5 modifier, 5 points to keep a note. First, it inherited when you inherit a class. Okay. The constructors and destructors of base class will not be inherited. Okay, sensors cannot be inherited, and under some special conditions, you can they are inherited, and in rare cases, and assigned is not inherited, and because as you know, friend functions, when you come with keyword friend, it is not related to any of the class, so it cannot be inherited. Next, suppose derived class cannot have access to your base class private members. Already we came across that. Private members cannot be accessed in your derived class as. So these are the main important points of your access specifiers. Okay. Next one. So this one will start in the next class. Okay, let me go with one more example for you. Let's go with example. This is example and I will stop. Okay. Because as we came across access modifiers. At present, I am not talking anything. Now is it clear? Can you hear me? Hello? Is it clear, Harshita? Is it still working? What about others? Can you hear me properly? This example. Okay, Annie. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So to access the members of your you cannot access outside it. You should be able to access within that class itself. Okay, derived class itself. Yes, Karthik. You can't access outside. So based upon the declare restricting, based on that you should be able to provide the accessibility of that particular thing. Okay. Okay, is it clear? Now see more. Is this example clear? Whatever. So these blue lines are related to your private data. Okay. If any blue color thing is there, then this blue color lines decide related to your protected data. If you see here, concentrate if before example, still if you are having any doubt, look at here now. Now, first. So see here, now this is nothing but your private. First we are declaring it as a private data. In the data as a private, and in public in print method I try to print the data, and in derivable class I declare a variable called as info, and here just I try to access the base class variable and derived class variable. Okay, now this is within the main. Okay, now if I create an object, b of 0, then b of 1 comma 2, that means based upon that the values might get initialized. So now see here, forget about this, what I try to show. Now see here, so now suppose if it is private, then can I access it outside here? Can the data be accessed in derived class? No. So it will be inaccessible. Okay. And then if it is protected, and one more thing, if it is b.data, if I try to access b.data in the main, can I access it? I cannot access if it is a private. Now if I, instead of private, I declared as protected in your base class. Okay, can I access it in your derived class data value? Yes, protected data can be accessed in your derived class. So if it is protected, then this data can be accessed in your derived class. Okay, then you can be able to print the data and info. Okay, and outside it means outside the within the main or somewhere else, global declaration or whatever it might be. Can you access it? No. So b.data equal to 5. Can I access it if it is protected? Only in derived classes you can access. Apart from that, you can't access. Okay. So now what is the conclusion of this? This is the conclusion. d.print cannot access b.data as a print method cannot access b's data if it is private. Derived class can access base class data if it is protected. So this is the conclusion. Whatever I showed with several number of combinations, this is an example which is giving just a simple example out of it with two values without having calculation of sum and anything, just providing the accessibility. Okay, you just take a pic, try to practice and go through that. Okay, so I'm stopping here, and let me know if you are having any doubts. Please post it in the chat box so that I will clear it. And today I would like to enable one exercise. Actually, I thought of conducting a quiz, but we don't have enough time. The next class we'll have Monday. Within this week, I'll be conducting a quiz and followed by the programs also. So you can start doing the program, and meanwhile, if you are having any doubts, please post it in the chat box. Yeah, I can see 228 students, but I can see only few replies, maybe 10. What about the others? And I told you at the last, if you want any one of your code, previous programs code to be rectified, any errors or any problem you are facing, let me know so that I will look at your code and I will clear it. Any one of you want your code to be seen by me? Just post your name here. Because we are having so many people, hundreds of students, I can't see all your code. Okay, let me see. You people are not responding. I'll only try to trace. I show you the code, you people will just jump the code directly. You will not try to modify your code. This is Naga Venkata Karthik. Are you there? If you are available, just respond. AW. Naga Venkata Karthik. Yeah, you are there, no? Karthik? Karthik, respond. You got the output now? The previous one? Because you evaluated 32 times and you didn't get. I would like to see your code. You got. Shreya. Shreya, you don't. Shreya, are you there? The way of approach is wrong. How I asked your question. What's your number? 8D. You have to take the array in order to consider subjects. Number of subjects. Yeah, I seen Karthik, you clear. But you try your own way. One way I explained. You can try your own methodology. Anyhow you did, it's okay. But you try to rectify your code. Don't dump the code which I showed. The way of approach is wrong because here itself, whenever I gave the questions, Shreya, I don't know whether you are available or not, you are not responding. Okay, good, Karthik. You understood, right? Okay. So, your program itself, I think the question itself is not clear. I explained you in the beginning of the session itself. Please try to modify your code because it should not be restricted only up to 2 subject marks or 3 subject marks. It should be taken dynamically based upon the input what you provide during the runtime. Okay. So take an array. So you should not read the input like this. Do it properly. Because the total code has to be modified. Rahul, C5. Okay, right? You took 2D. 25.5. This one is Rahul. You just modify it as double and try to check your code you might get. Instead of float, take it as double. And just check it out, you may get it properly. You are getting the expected output, but you are not able to evaluate. Okay, and just check the task spaces. Check the statements mainly. Grand total, this input statement, output statements you have given. No? Just check, just copy paste the words exactly. Remaining everything is okay. Your logic is okay. Good. Akila. Akila, you also did the same mistake. It should not be static way of doing the program. Exactly matching the sample input and output. When I gave it as n subject, where is the value n? Number of subjects n value used in your code. So it's not correct. Take the array and in order to read the values and just calculate and do it. It should work for, okay, good. No, I hope you understood. It should work for 5 subjects, 6 subjects, any number of subjects. It should be in a dynamic way. Okay, and take the data type of aggregate as double instead of float. And next, Geeta, I think, Ritika. Just I'm going in a sequence, I'm not checking any people. This girl is so smart, without code just she evaluated. Please don't do, try to modify, do the coding. Snehaja. She also the same, just like Akila. Not user and subjects. So try to modify the code and do it properly. It should not be restricted only to the sample input and output. I gave it as n subjects.